My mother, she came out from England, had a one-night stand at Fremantle, and I'm the result of the one-night stand. My name's Arthur Walker. I was born in 13th of July 1925 in the Melbourne Women's Hospital in Carlton. I was put in foster care from when I was born. Well, I never got any love and care. Well, it was all boys' home from the day I went into a home. Because I was the smallest there, of course, I got picked on. Nearly 12, wasn't it? Foster homes. I must have been bad because they kept shifting me around. Up in Bendigo, we never had electricity out there. It was all kerosene lamps and candles. The woman we were living with had a linen shop opposite a blacksmith. So I used to go over and watch the blacksmith shoeing horses all day, if I was allowed out, if it wasn't raining. There was a photo of me in the horse and buggy in one of them. Well, that'd be 1929, I'd be 4. It'd be 1929, 1930. I finished up being put in a boys' home. I went to 4 different boys' homes, and they weren't too bad except for one, was Dyer, which I didn't like. But other than that, life was livable. The boys' home was very good. They looked after us. We used to go to community singing once a month in Melbourne at the Regent Theatre. We went to the zoo, we went to the Moonee Valley Racecourse. They used to have a day for children. We went to the opening of the shrine in 1934.
At Melbourne's great Shrine of Remembrance, 250,000 people surround the majestic stone monument which enshrines the memory of Anzac.
We're in the front row of the crowd, or the procession, we like to call it. We were only 30 feet away from the speaker, and it was a very big honour to be there. When I've come to think of it now. My mother was in the Depression, out of work, so I was made a ward of the state, and I was shipped down to Minton Boys' Home at Frankston. There was 136 boys and 2 teachers, and that was just as bad for the education. You didn't really get one. You had to be real bright to get ahead there. I wasn't that bright. I took on some responsibility of running the laundry, so I used to wash 136 towels every day, and sheets once a week, and clothes. Oh, big job. We used to have a band, and our bandmaster, Captain Harry Shuck from the Metropolitan Tramways Board, used to come out every Saturday and teach us how to play and that, and I was learning the trombone. After I left Frankston Boys' Home, I went to a training farm out at Listerfield. At the training farm, first bit of music I heard was Tiger Rag. That's my favourite. I like it because it's tied up with me tigers. Stayed at Richmond for a couple of years as a kid, and they were talking about this young kid from St Augustus, which was just up the road from where we were living, Dyer. It was him that they were talking about. But I was only a kid, 4 or 5 or something, and I went to the football at Richmond and saw him play. Didn't mean anything to me really, but later on in life I realised who it was and what I saw. Very good. And so I followed Richmond ever since. So they were closing that place down, so they sent me to Tally-Ho Boys' Home in Tally-Ho. What a terrible place it was. It was a shocking place. It was everybody for himself. Bloody terrible. I don't know how they got away with it. It was terrible. They had a pool there that you couldn't swim in because there was green slime all over it. The boys at Tally Ho weren't the best of boys to be with. They were villains, a whole lot of them. I wouldn't like to say why I left. I was selected to go to another farm which suited us out at Lilydale. So I stopped there till I went home to my mother when I was 15 and a half, a couple of days before Christmas, and met me little sister. She was born on the 21st of November. She was only less than a month old when I met her. What more can I say? I didn't really know my mum until this woman used to come and visit me once in a year or something. But she introduced herself as mum, and so I said she was my mum. But I never really knew it until I went home at the age of 15 and a half. She came out to do a job and she couldn't do the job because she was pregnant. She came out as a weaver, and she had to wait for another 12 months before she could go back to what she used to do with weaving. Married in 1933 to my legal guardian. It's my mother and my guardian, Bert Huntley. Big change in life, big change. She took me to Myers the first week I was home, or after the New Year. She outfitted me with clothes and dressed me up. I looked something then, and this is the first outfit. My mother I got to like again. I had doubts about her when I was in the home. Why did she put me in? I had doubts about that, but we soon overcome those because I realised when I went home that she must have felt guilty because we finished up, we had 7 boarders over the period. She took anybody and everybody. They're all fellas about my own age, except for one old bloke. And I like her husband, Bert. He was a nice fellow. My mother I don't think we would have got on too well if we hadn't have been there. Because I don't know. And I got a job in electroplating in Lonsdale Street. It was filthy and there was no wash facilities at work. So I got a job round the corner as an apprentice engineer, which I liked and did for 12 months until they put me riding a bike all over Melbourne as a messenger boy. And I didn't like that, so I gave that away. So I went and dyed women's stockings, and then I joined the Air Force. I wanted to be in the Navy, and my legal guardian, Bert Huntley, he joined the Air Force, and he said, well, you may as well join the Air Force and be with me. After that, I never saw him until we went home after the war. I went to Shepparton to do my rookies, got posted to Sale, one bombing and gunnery school, and then there was a change over to 1 AGS. And that was me when I joined up. I was drug operator, 1,500 hours flying, and 2 crash landings and 3 false landings. Drug operator, operating targets out of aircraft. A drone is a windsock, like a windsock on an aeroplane, but it's the same thing, only attached to the aircraft by about 1,800 feet of wire. Other aircraft used to shoot at the targets with different coloured bullets, and that's how we knew who hit what when. Some aircraft had winches on them to rewind the target, wind them in and cut the targets off in the dropping area. Other aircraft didn't have the winches, they had to let it go, the wire and the target. While I was flying, see, we've got extra £2.9. See that? Yeah, that extra, that was for flying, but you've got to fly for 20 minutes before you got your money for your flying. One morning we get out there early, before the other aircraft come out, and here's a Japanese sub, beats itself on the sand. So we had no rifles or anything with us, I had a fairy pistol with 3 shots and lead weights. So I dropped them on and fired the fairy pistol, and after about 20 minutes it backed off, and that was the last we saw of it. The OTU, Air Operational Training Unit, was supposed to be ready to do anything like that, and took them over half an hour to get out there. By that time the submarine had gone. That's one they missed very badly. End of the Second World War in the Pacific, and it was very good news. It's a discharge one from Laverton, 1st of April 1946. Got an aptitude test on the way out on getting discharged, and they told me I was good for a bricklayer, but there was a 2-year wait to get into the course. So I said, I want a job outside. Didn't want to go back inside. They told me there was a job at Cheltenham where I lived, a job as a jockey for a milk transport. Two years later, I was the foreman of the milk transport later. I was there for 22 years as a foreman. I had a girlfriend at the time, so we decided to get married. And we looked after 8 boys. I had a boys' room, but it was a hard job for my wife. I hit a train head-on with a milk truck and tipped over 2 milk trucks. It was bad maintenance on the trucks. I told the boss's brother I had no brakes, and he said, I can't do anything about it. He said, just take it easy tomorrow. I didn't even get to the first farm. I got to the first railway crossing and hit a train. That's after the war. When I come back, I'd be 22 there. When I was younger, I did a speedster. I used to race motorbikes. I love sport. I joined the Victorian Speedboat Club. Then I joined the Pony Club, president of the Collingwood Pony Club, until I joined the racing club, and still in it, thank God. Nancy, she was my first wife, and we had 2 girls, Annette and Leanne, and they both wanted horses, so we had to move to Pearsdale. Then the kids got jobs elsewhere and moved away from home, so we moved down to Turin. And then my wife had a stroke and died, and I met my new wife sometime later at the Turin Sports Club. And that's Shirley Gargan. That's the biggest change I've had in my life, which is the best thing that ever happened to me. I've picked up 4 kids, a boy and 3 girls. So now I've got 5 girls and 1 boy, and we all love each other. Get on very, very well. Blended family, very nice. I got grandkids. How many have I got? 1, 3, 5, and 3. It's 8 grandchildren. Is that right? 8 grandchildren? And about 12 great-grandchildren. And how many great-great-grandchildren?
18 we counted yesterday. 18
great-grandkids. So, plenty of big family now. They all call me Pa. Life changed completely. I had my own business, sales and service. lawn mowers and ride on tractors. I was in Cranbourne and Cheryl came down and helped me, which is a godsend to me because I hated phones and still do. And she looked after the phone and did all of my business for me and let me do some work out the back, and which we started to make money then. When I got married to Shirley Gargan, I had to apply for my birth certificate. And when I got my birth certificate, I didn't know who they were talking about. So I went down and saw my mother, and I said, I've got a problem. And she said, what's the problem? I said, I've got my birth certificate. Oh, yes, your name's Richard Appleyard. It was a bit of a kick in the guts for me.
I, Sarah Huntley, declare that on the 13th day of July 1925, I have birth to a son at the Women's Hospital. I registered the child as Richard Appleyard, Appleyard being my maiden name.
And I'm 65-year-old. Bit of a shock. In fact, it was a big shock.
When I returned from hospital with the child, I was unmarried and very confused. The local minister suggested that the child take the name of Walker, as the father of my child was named Walter Walker.
We were going to go for an overseas trip, so I had to change my name. I couldn't put it up with Appleyard. So I went and changed it to Walker. Sold the business, and Cheryl and I started to travel. We went all over Australia, except Tasmania. And we've had a very good life together until Cheryl passed away in October 2024. Yeah. Lived a very happy life, very happy. But I miss her very much. I joined the Collingwood Football Club because my grandson, Tyson Goldsack, played football for Collingwood. I liked his style of football, long kicking, good marking. We went one year at the grand final and Tyson kicked the first goal in the premiership side in 2010. We could never stop talking about it after that. Everybody in Pakenham, and I think in halfway between here and Pakenham, knew all about it. Yeah, very good. When he left, I went back to me Richmond, thank you. I'm still a Richmond heart and heart, through and through. Yeah, what's the secret to my long life? I think milk has got a lot to do with it. I drank a lot of milk. Towards the end of my life now, I drink a bit of beer, but not much. I have 2 stubbies a day, but I'm still drinking me milk. But I think milk would probably be the biggest factor why I'm still alive today. I drank milk from when I was young, right up and still drinking it. Never give that away.